2026 has just started and it feels like the world is getting worse and isn't getting any better anytime soon. We are seeing random acts of violence and civil war across the world on the news daily. We are seeing the Epstein files being released and the horrific acts that nobody could have imagined would be this bad. Billionaires using their power to abuse those who are vulnerable, especially young women. It is despicable, it is disgusting to think about. Even though I don't live in the US, it still affects me as a Christian to see evil go unpunished, to see evil rampant in this world that God created. And yes, it's not surprising that there is evil in this world due to Adam and Eve sinning all those years ago, and Job 9 verse 24 saying, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So this world is controlled by evil, but the things in the Epstein files and how many people are involved in it and how powerful these people are, it boggles my mind, and it shocks me that this type of evil is not just fantasy, it's reality. And all I could do is just pray that the victims get justice and are able to live with the trauma that they are experiencing to this day, and that those responsible are held accountable for their actions and they receive the rightful punishment for their crimes. With all this chaos going on in the world, it makes me kind of angry to realize and to see evil go unpunished and evil being so rampant in God's world. It's to the point where it's testing my faith. And the words of Jesus Christ in Matthew 5, when Jesus tells us to love our enemies and pray for those who hurt us, those words couldn't be more harder to follow in today's world than ever before, especially with all the chaos going on behind us. Because think about it. Do we even have the capacity to forgive or let alone love those who are in the Epstein files and have done evil and despicable acts towards minors? The worst types of acts. We're hearing, sex trafficking, cannibalism, abuse, abuses of power, all the worst sins in the Epstein files are being revealed to the world. And yet Jesus tells us to love our enemies. It's easy to preach this. I made a video on it before and I've heard it a million times at church. But to actually follow this is one of the most difficult things to do. Not only because our culture is counterintuitive to this and tells us that we should kill our enemies and make them suffer, but because us humans, a lot of us don't lack the capacity to love like Jesus. Jesus Christ, when he was crucified on the cross, forgave the people who crucified him. The people who killed him, he forgave them. Instead, he could have easily had them killed in a snap of a fingers because he is God, but instead, he used that power to forgive the people that killed him. So, if Jesus did that, then we are called to follow in his example. And it is not easy. But this is what separates us from being Christians. Because an atheist could do good deeds or have Christ-like qualities, but can they forgive even the worst of the worst? And I'm not saying that we should excuse Jeffrey Epstein's actions, but do we have the capacity as Christians to pray for those who have done wrong, no matter how evil and despicable they are, to see them be converted and see them see the light of Christ and be renewed in new bodies in Christ? Because at the end of the day, we are all sinners. We all came from a place of brokenness, full of sin, and it doesn't need to be the horrific acts that were committed by these billionaires. It could just be small acts like gossiping or being disrespectful to people or not helping people. And yeah, those sins are not as bad as what they have done, but we still are sinful. So, and Jesus loved us no matter what we've done. So, can we do the same to the most evil of evils, to people who are Satan themselves? Can we do that for them? Because I feel like there's nothing wrong with having righteous anger towards this. We should hate sin. We should hate injustice. And if you feel anger towards the Epstein files and how these billionaires have been able to cover it up and get away with it, you are right in having those feelings, because it is not right and is unjust that these people are getting away with it. But if this anger is eating you up inside, then this is not a healthy anger, because you are carrying the the will of God on your shoulders, when it is not our um responsibility to judge others or punish others for their crimes. It is God's job to judge those who have done wrong and have not asked for forgiveness. Yes, we could throw people in jail and for their crimes, but it is not our job to judge them the same way God judges them at the end of their lives. There's two ends of the extreme. There are people who are passive and let criminals do whatever they want, or let people who have wronged them get away scot-free, and there's people who want revenge on those who have done wrong or have hurt them and want them dead, which is not justice and is definitely not love. The sweet spot is, wanting justice to be prevailed, but in the right way. And I just want to talk about the Epstein files and make a video like this, because in this Bible verse in Matthew chapter 5, when Jesus tells us to love our enemies, couldn't be more harder in today's world, when we're seeing all this evil that we thought is, a myth or just hearsay, come be a reality that has been happening in our world for decades and decades. This is why staying close to Jesus Christ and building your relationship with Him, it couldn't be more important than today, because we are seeing so much evil. So we need Christ in our lives to keep us grounded and to keep us hopeful. Because when you don't have Christ in your life and you're just seeing these heinous acts play out and be revealed in real time, you're going to feel nihilistic and unhopeful that the world will get better. But when you are born again in Christ, then you will have hope and be hopeful. So I hope this video brings you joy, brings you blessing, brings you hope. Because I've been struggling with this for the past few weeks as the Epstein files are being revealed to us, even as a Canadian. So God bless you all.